Floating in the Indian Ocean between the vast expanses of Mozambique and Madagascar lies the enchanting archipelago of the Comores, a mystical land where volcanic islands rise majestically from the sapphire sea, their dark, rugged rocks seamlessly blending with lush forests that cascade into the crashing waves below. This secluded paradise, a secret to much of the world, captivated my heart with its vibrant culture and labyrinth stone alleys. I partnered with Adore Comores for an unforgettable 10-day journey to unveil the wonders of these islands. My adventure continued to the third island of Anjouan, a historic island with ancient old towns right along the rugged coast and tropical mountain adventures. And here's how it went. Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the Comores. I'm just finishing up my 2-day trip to Moheli, which is the smallest of the Comore Islands and one of the most beautiful. And we just did some amazing snorkeling. We got to see some sea turtles, some incredible beaches, and it's one of the least populated islands. And I felt like I had a lot of these beaches just completely to myself, and it was just stunning. And today I'm partnering again with Adore Comores to head to my third and final island of the Comores, Anjouan. So Anjouan is the second largest island in the Comores, and it's just about the same size as Grand Comore. So I think it'll be a lot busier and a little bit more similar to Grand Comore when we were doing Moroni, and I think there's going to be a Medina and some other cool cities and culture and villages to check out in Anjouan. So I'm starting the day off again by traveling with the locals. I'm heading out on another fishing boat from this beach here just off the coast of Moheli, and we're going to all cram into one of these boats with everyone's stuff and head about an hour and a half across the Indian Ocean here to Anjouan. So let's load up the boat and get going. It was almost two and a half hours coming from Moheli to the island of Anjouan, and I've met my guide, Maudida, who's from the island of Anjouan. This afternoon, we're gonna go to the main city of Mutsamudu, and there's a little old Medina, there's a Citadel up on the hill, so we're gonna grab the bags from the boat and then head to the city. We went to the hotel real quick, dropped off the bags and relaxed, and this afternoon it's about 3:30 and we've come back out to the Mutsamudu Medina, which is this big old town area, kind of similar to Moroni, where you have a lot of these winding old town streets, and it's a less residential but more of a commercial district. So in the morning it's a little bit more busy, a little bit more lively when all of the shops are open. So this afternoon we won't probably see it as busy, but still really fun to explore just these winding little alleys that are probably only a meter and a half wide. So yeah, we're gonna go for a little wander. So we've just been walking around some of the old town streets of the Medina here, and we've made it to kind of the center of the Medina, and we have the Friday Mosque right behind me, and then we have the Sultan's Palace. And on the Sultan's Palace, you just have these incredible wood carved doors and wood carved windows, and just very beautiful, couple stories tall. And you can't go in it yet, but they're in the midst of restoring the Sultan's Palace that was built in the 16th century here. So eventually you could go in and see a little bit of what the Sultan lived like here in the middle of the Medina. And then you have the Friday Mosque right next to it. So yeah, very cool. Let's keep wandering and exploring. We just wandered around the Medina for about half an hour, 45 minutes or so, and again, just an amazing maze of these old little alleys, beautiful doorways, old buildings. And now we've come just out of the old town, and we're going up these stairs that's gonna give us a nice view looking back down on the Medina and the ocean and the mountains, and just some good views overlooking Anjouan. So yeah, we're hiking up right now. We've just hiked up these stairs for about 10 minutes, and we're just south of the downtown part of Mutsamudu, and you have just this beautiful view. You're looking right down on the old town Medina that we were just exploring. You can see some of the minarets popping out of the old town, one of the Friday mosques. You can look out on the port here and the water and some of the mountains off in the distance, and just a really nice overview of the city that we were just exploring. And then you can also see the Citadel, which is where we're gonna go later this evening to watch the sunset. So yeah, nice overview of the city. On our way to the Citadel, Maulida, who grew up living in this town, he had like a memory of this waterfall that you could just hike to straight from the city. So it was only about 5-10 minutes hiking through the forest, and it was crazy because we were right in the little village there, and you just came out and all of a sudden we're having this nature hiking experience, and there's this little waterfall. If we had more time, you have like a nice little swim spot, this like really beautiful blue pool surrounded by nature. But we're gonna enjoy some views of the waterfall and then continue on to the Citadel for sunset. we've just come back up the other side of the hill and we are at the Mutsamudu Citadel, which we saw from the other overlook that just sits right up above the old town Medina, and it was built in 1789, and it was to fight off some of the Malagasy pirates that were coming over and stealing some of the local people and forcing them into slavery back in Madagascar. So very interesting architecture. You have all of these cannons out here just facing the bay, and we're gonna hang out here for a little bit. We're gonna watch the sunset and just enjoy some of the really nice views overlooking the Medina that we explored earlier. We have just come to the top of the Citadel here, and you just have this incredible view. You're looking right down onto the Medina. You can see a bunch of the minarets. You can hear the call to prayer just echoing through the city here, and just incredible views. You can see the mountains and the water, and really awesome city so far. Again, this was just my first afternoon in Anjouan, but I just loved, there was so much more like energy and life and really cool architecture here. I almost like it a little bit more than Moroni on Grand Comores. So yeah, and that's about it. We just finished watching sunset up here. Tomorrow we're gonna do another tour of the rest of the island. There's the old capital and some lakes and maybe some waterfalls, some rivers, some nature, and we're gonna get out of the capital city here a little bit and just see a little bit more of the island of Anjouan. So yeah, incredible first day, really fun walking around the Medinas, coming up to the Citadel here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow when we explore the rest of Anjouan. Good morning, guys. It is my second day here in Anjouan, and today I'm meeting with Patrice, another one of the tour guides for Adore Comores on the island here, and he's gonna take me on a little bit of an island tour to show me a little bit more than just Mutsamudu. So we're gonna go see some beaches. I think there's a waterfall, a lake, and then again we'll have the old capital city of the island, Domoni, that we're gonna check out. So let's jump in the car and start the tour of Anjouan. Just had a beautiful coastal drive down the southern part of Anjouan, and we've pulled over to the side of the road here in the Sambay region, and there's a little beach tucked away along some of these mountains here that we're gonna go check out. So we gotta hike down maybe just like a minute or two and check out this beach. It's actually quite a steep hike down to Sambay beach here, and we just have this like picture perfect beach with these amazing tall palm trees. We're surrounded by these mountains in this little cove, and we have the beach completely to ourselves. There's like one little fisherman just out there on his little traditional dhow. And yeah, just incredible being surrounded by these black rocks and palm trees. So gonna enjoy the beach for a little bit, probably fly up the drone, get some aerials, but this is just such like a picture perfect beach here. that was Sambay Beach, and it's just amazing in here in the Comores. It's just so untouched, unspoiled beauty. Just feels like this absolute paradise here with these tall palms. And I loved being able to fly up the drone here. There's a reef just probably about 100 meters off the coast here, and there's some people spearfishing in these traditional boats. Very, very cool. So we're gonna hike back up out of the beach here, probably spent about half an hour just enjoying, relaxing, and we're gonna jump back in the car and we're gonna drive up into the mountains and find some waterfalls and then a lake. So yeah, let's jump back up in the car. We have just had probably about an hour drive down the west coast of Anjouan, and this island is just stunning. You're on this coastal drive. It almost feels like you're in Hawaii. You have all of these palm trees lining the street. You have these layers and layers of mountains off in the distance, bright blue water and coral right off the coast. We had some black sand beaches for quite a ways, which were just really stunning. And you're driving through all of these tiny little fishing villages, and just really fascinating to see the life in the Comores here. And then we've made it to Moya village, which has another little white sand beach. Even though we were seeing a lot of black sand, there's this little cove that has some beautiful white sand, nice blue water, some coral. There's some people playing soccer. And then on both sides of this cove, you have these jagged, rocky, black rocks that come out into the ocean. So very stunning, very amazing views. So probably gonna fly up the drone, enjoy this beach, watch some football for a little bit, and yeah, let's check out Moya Beach. Very cool little beach, Moya Beach here. Again, you're just surrounded by these cliffs, so there's just a lot of great views. It's fun to kind of climb along some of these rocks here. And then, yeah, flying the drone, there's like a little sandbar, probably just 50 feet or so off the beach, but got some really cool shots of that with the drone. And it is strange that there's just this little tiny white beach here in this cove, because all around here you have these black sands and this black volcanic rock, and then just this little tiny circle of white sand tucked away in this little cove here. And then the village right above it, very beautiful, very scenic, mountains surrounding us. So yeah, pretty cool place to hang out. Fun to watch these guys playing some football on the beach. We're gonna jump back in the car, continue exploring Anjouan, and I think now the next stop is the waterfall. So yeah, let's keep exploring. We've just driven up into the mountains a little bit to the village of Lingoni, and we have just a 5-minute walk to check out one of the waterfalls here in Anjouan. Alright guys, easy little hike to Lingoni waterfalls, probably just about 4 or 5 minutes, and we're in this little gorge, and then the gorge opens up and you have probably about 100-150 foot cascade coming down here, and you're just in this lush jungle. So very cool little view. We're gonna head back in the car and we're gonna keep going up the mountain and check out one of the lakes that's in one of the craters of the Anjouan here. We have just driven a little bit further up into some of the mountains of Anjouan here from the waterfall, and we've pulled over to the side of the road and we have about a 15-minute hike up to one of the lakes in the mountains here. So let's hike. We just had about a 15-20 minute hike, and we were hiking through this farmlands. You saw some cows. There were a lot of people harvesting wood and sticks and carrying it on their heads through these forest trails here. And we've made it to Dzialandze Lake. We've made it to Dzialandze Lake, and we're about 3,000 feet up, and not too much further. You could take this trail to the highest point in Anjouan, but here we just have this nice little lake, and again, you're just surrounded by these mountains. It's a lot cooler up here, so yeah, really nice peaceful place to relax. Might try to fly up the drone, get some aerial shots of the lake, but yeah, beautiful little spot. Totally unexpected seeing some like alpine lakes up here in the Comores. We're driving down the hill from the lake down to Domoni, and we've just stopped on the side of the road here to get a beautiful view. We're looking down inside the crater of the volcano, and Anjouan is one of the oldest volcanoes of the Comores, so it's very extinct. Unlike Cartella, which we saw in Grand Comore, this one's a dead volcano, and it's old, so a lot of the mountains are a little bit more worn, and then you have a couple of villages just way down in the crater. So we're gonna keep driving down a bunch of switchbacks through the crater eventually, and then down to Domoni. we have just come down the mountain and we are in Domoni now, which is one of the old capitals of the island of Anjouan, and it's where the first president was actually from. And right behind me we have this golden domed mausoleum, which is where the first president was buried. And the Comores got their independence from France on July 6, 1975. So just about 50 years old now. So anyways, from the mausoleum here, we're gonna walk down into the Medina of Domoni and walk around some of the old streets of this old capital here. We've been wandering around the Medina of Domoni a little bit, and this place is really known for its wooden doors. We've seen some of the wooden doors in some of the other Medinas, but this one especially, I think it was where they produced a lot of the wooden doors. And so you have these amazing frames of the doors and just like this old stone town kind of feel. And we've made it to the town square, and we have the Friday Mosque, and this one's pretty new, but right across the street is one of the older mosques in the Medina. And then right near the town square too, you have the old Sultan's Palace, which had this beautiful yellow wooden door. So yeah, we're gonna kind of keep wandering the Medina, but just some amazing old architecture, and we're literally like right on the ocean right here. So yeah, let's keep wandering around this maze of a Medina. We have just weaved our way through the Medina of Domoni, and we've come out to these cliffs, and there's actually a couple of these homes built right into these cliffs, and you just have these epic views looking back on Domoni. You can see the mountains, you can see the cliffs, and you can just see all of these layers that just go on the ocean. And looking over the city, you can see the minaret of the Friday Mosque that we just walked by, and you can see the mausoleum, the gold dome there that we started at. And yeah, just a great little overview and just beautiful cliffs. I'm gonna fly up the drone and try to get some aerial shots of the coastline and this old town that's just right on the water. that's about it for Domoni. We spent like an hour and a half or so here just walking through the Medina, and it's fascinating just seeing the lives on these old streets and just such colorful homes and beautiful wooden doors. And then it's awesome how the city is built like right onto the cliffs here, so getting some of those views looking back over the ocean at the old town, the tall minarets that just tower above the Medina were really cool. So anyways, that about finishes our island tour of Anjouan. We're gonna jump back in the car and head back to Mutsamudu for the afternoon evening, which is where I showed you guys yesterday. And then tomorrow I'm gonna be jumping back on a plane, heading back to Grand Comore, and I'm gonna continue exploring Grand Comore, showing you a little bit more of the northern part of the island. So now I've been able to see all three of the islands and really gotten a good grasp on the similarities and differences between all the islands and all the places you can explore, the really interesting, unique culture of the Comores, some of the unique landscapes and nature. And it was all possible thanks to Adore Comores. This honestly would be a really difficult trip to put together by yourself unless you really knew French. And even if you did, there's not a lot of great infrastructure. So helping set me up with all of these different guides along the way and helping me figure out how to get from each place with the boats and the planes and the tour guides and the taxis has been just really helpful. And I feel like I've really gotten a good taste of the Comores here and really learned to love it. There's just so many epic landscapes, so many beautiful beaches, and so many of these places that I've just never seen of or heard before, because it's one of the least touristy places, so there's just not a lot of content online. So I'm just seeing and discovering these places for the first time with my own eyes, which has just been really unique and really hard these days in a world that's so over-touristed to find these really off the beaten track places. So yeah, that's about it for the Comores series here, showing you all three of the islands. And then after Comores, I'm actually heading back to Europe, and I'm going to be showing you guys a couple more cities in Europe, and then doing a really cool trip in Norway where we're going to go up to Svalbard. So I'll see you guys in the next video.